And welcome everybody to the Steve Davis Show. I am not Steve Davis. I'm Scott Coletti filling in for Steve Davis. Steve had something come up today at the last moment, asked me to step in. So here we are. One thing that is the same is the theme of the show. We're going to be talking New Mexico Highlands football, and we got the man who knows no better than anyone else of New Mexico Highlands football, and that's the head coach of New Mexico Highlands. That's Kurt Taufa'asau. And Kurt, welcome to the show here today. And first off, congratulations on a big win the other day.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, well, let's talk about your journey. You come on summer of 2024, literally the beginning of summer, after spring ball, after recruiting, everything else. It's been kind of a journey for you to build up your team, and you're slowly but surely, not maybe quick enough for you, but you're slowly but surely getting the team that you want at New Mexico Highlands.
Yes, coming in last year was a tough position to be in, but it wasn't excuse. Well, it wasn't an excuse for us to not get things done. Ultimately, we finished the year with just 2 wins last year, but heading into the off season, which is what we were really looking forward to, and we hit the ground running recruiting, and we got a lot of majority of the kids that we wanted throughout the off season, and got them here on campus for spring ball and our off season training, and then obviously put together the best what you call signing class Highlands has ever had in a while. And then now we're here in the season, 3 games down, getting ready for 8 more that's left on my schedule. So no, just blessed and grateful and excited for where we're at as far as the program within a year and a month.
And the thing about it is you got so many players, and you got players who can step in. We've already seen that. You have a lot of depth, guys that are actually ready to play. It's not just guys that you're going to bring in red shirt, guys that you're going to kind of have on the sideline and hope for the best. A lot of your guys are ready to play, and that makes you a 3-4 deep kind of team, doesn't it?
Yeah, no, I mean that's the testament to the job that my coaching staff did in the off season, recruiting the right guys that fit, um, you know, the mold and what we're looking for in a kid for our program, and then hitting it on the head as far as like the right kids, because you can recruit a bunch of kids, but if you don't recruit the right kids, what we're doing right now with the depth that we have, won't be as successful as what we're doing. So no, just proud and excited, and happy with the work that our coaches have put in so far.
Speaking of proud and excited, we'll get into the game here momentarily, but homecoming week has come and gone, and what a week it was. How about the crowd that showed up at Sanchez Family Stadium on Saturday?
Yeah, no, I mean I think that's the most New Mexico Highlands has ever had in a while. But no, it was an exciting scene to see that the stands packed and the corral tent filled with a bunch of alumni and H Club members, and then, just people coming out to see the Cowboys on Saturday.
So let's get into the game. It was a 48 to 42 victory in overtime after New Mexico Highlands had the lead for much of the game. Jeffrey Jones, 19 carries, 228 yards and a touchdown. Mike Jones, 99-yard kickoff return for a score, 7 receptions, 116 yards, 3 touchdowns. We'll get into those guys here in a little bit, but just talk about the grinding effort that you guys had to go through on Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, we knew coming into RMAC play that it wasn't just going to be a walk in the park type ball game. It's going to be a grind, and obviously you've seen that on Saturday with both teams, fighting to the end. Um, Physicality was one of the biggest things that we preached all week, was we got to outmatch, the physicality that these RMAC teams are going to bring. And I thought our team stood to the challenge on Saturday, and, just fortunate and super proud that our guys, fought to the end to where, we came out with the victory.
And we will talk about Jeffrey Jones and Mike Jones in the next segment. But let's get to a couple of key highlights here. One of the highlights that I want to show is a big interception by one of your linemen, and it was impressive. Keenan Carter comes up with the interception, and not only does he make the tip, catch the ball himself, but he wanted to run for a score, Coach.
Oh yeah. I mean, I think that's a big boy dream right there, is to get his hands on the football and try to take it to the house. So no, just super proud of that kid. He was a freshman last year and went through a grueling season last year, and then to see him make a play like that this year that helped us out ultimately. That's kind of super proud moment, not only for us coaches but also for him.
A big play in overtime after South Dakota Mines tied the game to send to overtime. This was a big one, Coach. On fourth down, the defense would come up with the stop of the game. And you had a bunch of stops during the game, but this was the key one, as this would send it to overtime on 4th and goal. Talk about this play.
Yeah, no, I mean, we knew it was, it was time. We leave it all on the field. Made a call where, guys, we're going to come off the ball, and ultimately our D line. If you watch that play, they started off with a huge knockback on the right side of the offensive line, and got penetration to where the quarterback didn't even have room to wiggle and try to find the end zone. And who else? Keenan Carter's involved in that play, and our whole D line is involved in that play. So just proud of the way these guys, stood up at the 1 yard line and came up with a huge stop.
And finally, after being stopped at the 1-inch line and even less than that, there was a penalty on the play. And by the way, there was a personal foul that sent you guys back to the 40 to open up the drive. But yes, here would be the final play of the game, as Tavita Belletti would bring it in from an inch, basically. And you'll see right here, they'll zoom in on the ball, Coach. And after the penalty was called on South Dakota Mines, the ball was literally almost touching the goal line. So it was that close on the play before by Belletti, but you guys called his number again.
Yeah, no, I mean, good players, make big-time plays, and then credit to our offensive line and all those guys blocking, man. Again, it was a dogfight, and it was a battle to the end, and again, ultimately our guys pulled through and made the plays that counted to get us the win.
It was a big-time celebration, and the thing, you talked about the game being one of the biggest crowds in recent memory at New Mexico Highlands. The thing that a lot of the folks at New Mexico Highlands and fans that I talked to after the game were talking about, not a lot of people left that game, Coach.
Yeah, no, I mean, like I said, it was a good game. We gave up a lead in the fourth quarter that took it to overtime, and then it was great to see people still in the stands wanting to see the outcome of the game. And again, I'm just happy that we were the ones that came out on top.
So we are going to step aside here, and out of the break, we'll talk about two of the key players of that game on Saturday and the season so far. But coming up next, we've got the Everguard Solar and Roofing Top 10 Plays of the Week here on the Steve Davis Show.
True, low snap, steps up in the pocket, escapes, takes a shot, Broden Price! Touchdown, Manzano!
Ferguson sets Utash, pulled off the block. Beautiful dig there by the 8th grader Denson. Ferguson sets the middle. It's Utash. All kinds of room in the back row. And that we'll start at the 20, and they're throwing out wide. That's Cox Liggins. He's got a stiff arm, and he's got the sideline. One play into the game, and it's a touchdown for Cale Cut Liggins. Wow, 80 yards.
Here's the snap and the kick. That one almost blocked. It might have been tipped, as that one's brought in inside the 45, round back. That's Gonzalez, room to go, and he's gonna take it to the house. Touchdown, Volcano Vista. Snap, fake handoff, Montoya, back to throw, taking a shot. That's Ethan Carter, who caught it for the touchdown, but
Back to receive. That's a nice kick from Montalongo as Vidales will field that one at the 17. Vidales up the field across the 30. Vidales finds a crease. Vidales across the 50. One man to beat. It's Montalongo, and Vidales is going to take that one to the house.
The motion man, those flakes. Holloway Jr. looking for some room. Nobody's going to catch him. That is going to go 96 yards for Herschel Holloway Jr. He run all the way to Tennessee for his visit with the ball.
Yeah, with some
Ryan Orlando able to run it here if they want. Give it up to 3. Now they'll get together with a little trickery. And this might work out just fine for the Hogs. It's hard to defend, and they're not going to defend it. It's going to be a 97-yard touchdown on the return.
just mitigate the draft.
A football strategy.
Yes.
I like that. They will go with the directional swim there. It's recovered by that Ice Caldwell.
39-yard line.
Gonzalez, one heave, down the sideline, has a man in the double coverage. Did he catch it? Did he make that play? No signal yet. They're talking it over. Touchdown! Oh my goodness! Back to pass. Looking. Has some time and he's hit. He has Ramirez. He jukes. He stiff arms. He's in! He's in! 3 missed Rams tackles allows a Dalen Ramirez touchdown. Taufa'asau, and 48-42 was the final score in overtime. New Mexico Highlands, a big victory to go to 3-0 on the season. That was this past Saturday, and that was at Sanchez Family Stadium in Las Vegas. As you look at the stat there, and Coach, let's talk about a couple of the key cogs of this game and the season so far. We're going to start off with the running back Jeffrey Jones. Third straight time that he has been the NCAA Division II Freshman of the Week by NCAA.com. And, you know, what a treat to watch is the other day, 19 carries, 228 yards and a touchdown. One thing that we haven't mentioned yet, he was carried off the field by 2 players, injured, missed a little bit of the action, came back in the second half, and almost got 100 yards after his injury. He's amazing.
Yeah, he's a phenomenal football player. We are lucky to have him. And, you know, everybody's just seeing, you know, his talent on display, you know, for the last 3 weeks. So, no, Jeff Jones is a huge asset and, you know, a huge part of the success that we're having right now. And again, credit to him showing up ready to go and being prepared week in and week out so far during the season.
836 yards and 8 touchdowns along of 80. And it's kind of amazing, Coach. The other team knows he's going to get the ball, and he still does what he does.
Yeah, no, I mean, like I said, credit to our offensive staff and our
Offensive
players
line.
on the offensive line and across the board on the offensive side of the ball, for coming up with a good game plan that will, put our players in good positions to make the plays. And, obviously, our players going out to execute, the game plan and, making sure that we finish drives with, points on the board.
Then you got Mike Jones, the wide receiver. He was the RMAC Special Teams Player of the Week, and he could have really been the RMAC Offensive Player of the Week also because of his numbers. But you'll take a look at what he did the other day. He had a 99-yard kickoff return, and this is what makes him special. Second touchdown return off a kickoff this season, and the first for Mike Jones because last week they kicked away from him. This time they kicked it to him to kick away from the guy who ran 90-plus the week before, and that's what happened. He runs in for the score, and that was just part of his game. 7 receptions, 116 yards, and 3 touchdowns. And this guy is the fastest guy on the field, bar none, and that's saying something.
Yeah, no, I mean, again, Jeff Jones has been getting all the love and all the attention, but, people tend to forget about Mike Jones because he was this honorable mention player for us last year. So no, it's good to have the Jones brothers on our side of that on that side of the ball to really come through for us. And yes, like Mike Jones is a special talent in his own right as well. And yes, it was good to see that people are starting to see that too as well.
And you get a look at the touchdown from Aikun Dangwu, and let's talk about his game. 14 of 25, 214 yards and 4 touchdowns. He was sacked once. You opened up the playbook for him this time.
Yeah, no, again, like, getting into RMAC play, we have to, be open to everything, and again, credit to our offensive coordinator, Coach Drew Thatcher, and along with our offensive coaches for, again, putting together a game plan that, that puts our players in positions to be successful and make plays on the field.
So in terms of that game, Coach, what were some of the things that you brought into the video room that you liked, and what were some of the things that you brought into the video room that you had to address to the team?
I really like the effort of our guys, what they've shown from start to finish. I know we faced adversity there in the fourth quarter, giving up, obviously a fumble that they took it to the house in the third, and then in the fourth quarter, us not being able to, hold the lead and finish the game off. You know, showing them that hey, like we got character on this team, and coming up with that huge stop on the fourth down. I think that was a huge show of what this team is about. We never quit, and we can match up to anybody's physicality. And also, stuff that we need to address is eliminating all the penalties that keeps putting us behind, the eight ball as far as like, the down and distance, and giving other people free set of downs to, keep the drive going. So just those little stuff is going to, add up, and it's going to mean a lot versus good teams, which we have next and, on the rest of our schedule.
You talked about the resiliency of this team, Coach. Kurt Taufa'asau, our guest here on the Steve Davis Show. And, one of the things you mentioned, the scoop and score off of the fumble, Tavita Villetti out of the Wildcat, lost control of the snap. It was picked up and brought back for a touchdown. That was a turning point because you could have had a lot more room between you and South Dakota Mines, just like a couple weeks before against Western New Mexico. And I bring that up in this way because the defense was on the field a lot. And I mentioned to Roman Romero, my partner for the broadcast, that, this defense was on the field a long, long time. And if you counteract that, maybe better things happen. But they came up with the plays, even though they were getting tired out there.
Yeah, no, I mean, again, anything could happen, during the course of a game, whether we're on the field a lot or offense is on a 18-play drive. It's just the fact that our guys are battle tested really in these last 2 weeks. Where games are tight and guys didn't fold. We just stood to the challenge and ultimately came through at the end, which is again an exciting sight to see because it shows a lot of character that this football team has.
And before we go to break, Coach, I got to bring up the enthusiasm about the team because this team, from man number one to ever many guys you had on the sideline, they're all engaged in the game.
Yeah, that's something we preach here is, everybody has to be on the same page and we all got to go one direction. If we have 50 going the other and the 50 going the other direction, and, we're not going to achieve and see the results that we want, from a game or from a practice.
New Mexico Highlands head football coach Kurt Taufa'asau. One more segment coming up on the Steve Davis Show.
Burrito Express is proud to announce that we are the official burrito spot of ProView Networks. Since 1982, with 6 locations serving Albuquerque, Rio Rancho, and Roswell, the question is, red or green? Let's go to the burrito. Visit letsgototheburrito.com and order now.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
I might not be in the cage as much anymore. Just like riding a bicycle, I can pick up the fight from where I left off. I'm not some slick-haired outsider posing with borrowed gloves. I grew up here. New Mexico is in my blood. I'm a New Mexican fighting for other New Mexicans. I'm Adam Oki. I'll be your champion in the courtroom.
Eagle Greens and Turf are a family-owned and operated business with over 25 years of experience in the home improvement industry. They are your exclusive dealer of celebrity green, synthetic putting greens, and artificial turf. They also have artificial turf that is specifically designed for your pets. Eagle Greens and Turf are proud sponsors of ProView Networks and can make your lawn green all year long at 505-273-2744.
Welcome back here to the Steve Davis Show. I'm Scott Colletti filling in for Steve Davis, and we have with us as our special guest head football coach at New Mexico Highlands University, Kurt Taufa'asau. And Kurt, going into your 4th game, it's going to be a tough one. Second road game of the season against Western Colorado, a team that's scoring 42 a game and giving up only 15. Your thoughts on this game?
No, this will be a great opponent to measure ourselves up to in the RMAC. Western Colorado is a well-disciplined and well-coached football team. In order for us to, do what we need to do as a football team, we have to be, disciplined in our own right. It starts in practice and cleaning up some of the miscues that we have with eliminating penalties and making sure that, there's no busts here and there on all 3 phases of the game. But, it's a challenge I look forward to seeing this Saturday.
Drew Nash is the quarterback for Western Colorado, 696 yards throwing, 11 touchdowns. What do you see out of him?
He's a pretty good player. He's the alpha of that team. Kid commands the offense with ease, and you can just tell he's been in that offense for, the last 2-3 years. And, it's going to be a challenge for us on the defense to make sure that, we don't make it too easy for him and giving him different looks so that way, we can apply some pressure up front, from our D-line and our outside backers and stuff. So again, Drew Nass is a phenomenal player, and again, we can't wait to line up across from him on Saturday.
So they bring in, obviously, a very stout defense, giving up only 15 points a game. You bring a stout offense, and that's one of the things that New Mexico Highlands hasn't had in a while. They've had good pieces of the offense, but you've got a lot of pieces that you haven't even shown off yet, Coach.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's going to be strength against strength come Saturday, and again, this game is all about New Mexico Highlands football team and what we have to do on all three phases to get the job done. We understand that Western Colorado is a phenomenal opponent, top 10 team in the country, playing at their place. But in order for us, to get the job done and get what we need to do, we have to, show up, be on all our P's and Q's on offense, defense, or special teams, and make sure that we don't hurt ourselves with, miscues and capitalize on opportunities when they present itself.
So in terms of this game, second road trip, what's the first thing that you learned about the camaraderie of this team on the first road trip a couple of weeks ago on the road against Eastern?
Again, the togetherness that we have in a short amount of time. And also, facing adversity, in our first three games. We've been in all three of our games were close games. It's not like we were blowing people out. It came down to the end, and just seeing the character and the fight that this team has, I think that's something that we can, carry into as an experience into this game.
I have to ask this question, Coach. You're already over 6,000 feet elevation, but you're going to the highest elevation in the country outside of Wyoming, which is actually a lower elevation, if you can believe that. But Gunnison is well over 7,000 feet. So your thoughts on that? Does it affect you guys? Because it seems like you guys are in very good shape.
Yeah, no, we are going to do some stuff this week that's going to prepare us for the elevation. We're going to do, conditioning to kind of help our guys' breathing and lungs and all that stuff throughout the course of the weekend, and we'll be ready.
Biggest keys to this game?
Win the line of scrimmage, outmatch their physicality, win the turnover battle, make sure that, we take care of the ball, and also we take away the ball on the defensive side, and then, when we do get into special teams, make sure our special teams doesn't hurt us. Use the special teams as an advantage to the game. And then ultimately, stay in the game. We know that the adversity is going to strike. We just got to be ready to, punch it in the face when it shows up in the game. So.
And obviously, this is one piece of the puzzle. You have 3 games in. You have more to go. How does this relate to just a whole season package?
Again, we try not to look far ahead. We're taking it one step at a time because every team is different. If we try to look too far ahead, we're going to lose focus of what, that's really important, that's right in front of us. So this week, we got to take care of business each day, starting with today's practice, tomorrow's practice, Thursday's practice, Friday's practice, and then, we'll live with the results on Saturday.
Well, Coach Taufa'asau, I want to thank you so much for joining us here on the Steve Davis Show. We'll talk to you soon, but best of luck this week.
Thank you for having me.
That's Coach Taufa'asau, the head football coach at New Mexico Highlands, here on the Steve Davis Show. Thanks to Aaron Rivera, our producer, for everybody involved, including Steve Davis. I'm Scott Coletti. You've been watching the Steve Davis Show. So long.